What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Ink and Insights, a comic book highlight reel show where we showcase some of our favorite books of last week and some of the books you might have missed. As always, my co-host here with me is Stu. Stu, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, brother. Always excited to be here with you. Week before Halloween, fall in full effect. We got some good books to talk about this week, and some great news from NYCC this past weekend. So always excited to be
Or
here
at
with
least
you,
some
brother.
interesting news, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, without a doubt. What up to everybody in the chat? Thank y'all for coming through. Hope everybody's doing well tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll let some people roll in here, but kicking us off right, Christina. Thank you so
Christina
much for joining us. We
Station.
appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And look at this. What up, guys? It's
What up,
Evil's
you?
Comics.
Station, y'all.
Nice
Thanks
seeing you,
for
man.
going through. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I gotta agree, man. Halloween is in full effect here. I'm so excited that we're right in the depths of the season. Like everything feels right. I got to watch Beetlejuice for the first time with my kid, and he
Nice.
absolutely loved it. Man, and I
Oh,
gotta say,
yeah.
going back in time and watching that after so long too, like seeing some of the stop motion effects and some of the wildness in that movie, that's some good
It's
stuff, man. That's like
absolutely,
that was
dude.
so
It gets
nostalgic.
it's evergreen in the best way, and it's so much. It's just that's one of those movies that's just like so delightful and fun in its weirdness, and it's such a joy to watch. So yeah, glad you got to do that one with the family. I hear the new one. I haven't seen it, but the new one does try to stay true to the practical effect usage and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see
we
what.
got that in the pipeline for probably this weekend here, so I'm gonna find out
Oh,
firsthand. But
okay.
I've heard good things so far, so I'm cautiously optimistic.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. But without further ado here, you had kind of mentioned New York Comic Con. I say we jump right into it if you're ready. You good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's roll with it. So I'll jump in here with the first article. We got DC's Vertigo will return from the dead. I'm quoting
Wow.
AIPT Comics on this one here. So, DC Comics editor Chris Conroy revealed earlier today at NYCC DC Vertigo will return. The new comic series will be announced at a later date, but the news comes as a huge win for longtime comic fans. And yes, man, do I absolutely agree. I think that the entire comic reading community like really poo-pooed on the fact that Vertigo went away and was to be replaced with Black Label, largely because we didn't know what the heck that meant, but mostly because like it harkened the end of like truly like the biggest like ground for creator owned ideas before Image was even a thing. And like to
Yeah.
take that away from, the community was really a bummer. And some of my favorite, in fact, my favorite comic of all time is a Vertigo comic. So like to see it come back, man, it really, I don't know, it's really nice. And I'm cautious again, just like Beetlejuice too, right? I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to see what this means because all we know is that Nice House by whatever body of water you give a shit about is really going to be the only title that we know is
Yeah.
Vertigo right
Yeah.
now. But yeah,
And
so I
it
want to
seems
see
like
how they roll this out.
they're going to be concentrating, like from what I understand, Vertigo is going to be, just kind of like the independent stuff, and Black Label is going to be the superhero centered type of tales. Is like how they're going to try to do it. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. But yeah, I think like the original death of Vertigo, I think coincided with them going out to LA and moving kind of their center of operations out there. I remember Will Dennis being editor during those last days in New York, and some of those bullets, man, like or I mean some of those books, like what was it, the Azzarello book, Bullets,
100
Joe,
bullets.
yeah, Joe 100
Yeah.
Bullets. Joe Kubert was doing some stuff. He was the one who discovered Jason Aaron, put him on with Scalp. Like, I don't know,
Oh,
it was some really phenomenal stuff there in the last days of Vertigo, and it was sad that it had to go. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess. You know what? It's great news that it's back, but with Tinian being the flagship title, it does make me nervous because I'm just, I don't want to rain on the guy's parade, but he's just not for me. And a lot of his writing hasn't connected. A lot of his work hasn't connected with me on the level that I've come to expect from a lot of the Vertigo titles of the past. So that disconnect has me a little bit worried, but other than that, it's still a great move. And I like that they're keeping Black Label around. It would be interesting to see, like you said, what gets published where and how it all breaks down. But yeah.
Yeah, it'll be exciting if it's the Vertigo of old, the things that that we saw from Karen Berger, the things that we saw from Shelley Bond, all of that stuff. If they really ring true to that kind of mentality, I think we're for some special stuff here. Before we jump into the next part, I'll have you go ahead and talk about this next one. But we got a couple more people that jumped in for us.
Dude.
Got Simpleton.
What up,
How do the kids like the F-bombs? The kids love the F-bombs. There's two things that kids love: chains and F-bombs for sure. So
much. Dad, you said a bad word. I hear it 50 times a day.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Yeah. We got Damien jumping in. What's up, Damien? Nice to see you, buddy.
Yeah. Sleepy, what up, bro? Phelps,
look at this. We got James Phelps. Huge supporter. Love this guy. Thank you so much for joining us, man. We appreciate you. And last but not least, here we got Sal rocking with us here. Thank you so much, man.
So what up? Yeah, Sleepy said seems like DC is bringing back so many labels like Elseworlds, and now absolutely it is. Yeah, they are juggling, I guess, a lot when you put it like that.
And I want to poo-poo on that notion too, but also I can't, because DC is just so much better at building those evergreen titles where they could stand the test of time and stand alone. Where if you got an imprint where that's going to live, I'm kind of okay with that. Call it whatever you want to. Just keep putting out good books that'll last forever and ever.
Absolutely. Amen, bro. I wonder what they're going to do as far as format. You know what I mean? Publishing wise, that'll be interesting to see as well.
All of the above, hopefully.
Yeah. Moving on. I guess, Ignition Press officially got launched. This was, I guess, the brainchild of former IDW editor-in-chief Jamie Rich, who stepped down about 2 months ago, right before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles launched. And also Boom Studios, president of publishing and marketing, Philippe Sablik. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. Apologies. But yeah, and they teamed up with Jeremy Hahn, and this is I guess the company abbreviation and symbol is conveniently IP, Ignition Press, but it's definitely going to be. It seems like it's going to be oriented towards that, right? Like development on screen. So a lot of comics and graphic novels that are going to be ready to be adapted and it pushed in that type of dimension. What did they have lined up, bro?
I don't
originally we got
anything lined up as of yet.
So Jeremy Hahn's going to be creative director, but we're also probably expecting a title from him. And of course, if you know him from the greatness that is Red Mother, shout out to my boy Taki for gifting me that one. The Approach at Boom, which it was up and down for me, but it had some great moments. But regardless, I think the right man for the job as far as the creative director. I think you could definitely do some interesting things. How did you feel about this announcement, dude? I mean, they got some big names, and like I said, they pulled Homeboy away right as TMNT was launching, and that was a huge deal for IDW. So for Jamie Rich to kind of step down and step away for this, he's definitely all in.
There's a lot of people that are actually responsible for things that take place behind the scenes, but a singular vision is usually the one that gets all the credit, right? You look at Jamie Rich and what happened during his tenure. He pulled in Scott Snyder and had their own imprint with the dark spaces thing. That was pretty successful, and I think that at the very least, the very first set of books that they had come out was pretty darn good. Then you look at Boom Studios. Boom Studios, in the pun intended, boom of all these small publishers coming out, they stood the test of time. Where Aftershock filed bankruptcy, Vault fell by the wayside. AWA, I can't remember the last book that they put out. So, when you have all of those things happening, Boom, under their leadership, put out good books consistently and had top tier talent. So absolutely, I got to be excited for that. On top of that, I'm a huge fan of Jeremy Hahn. And if he's going to be in the role, kind of like what CB Cebulski was when he was like the talent director and talent finder for Marvel, if he's going to be doing that, that's exciting because that's a completely different realm than we've seen him in. And he has the talents that he knows he's going to be looking for. So it could be really cool. It could crash and burn too, because we saw other things like Joe Quesada now has his own imprint at Mad Cave. I mean, he has a background in that kind of stuff, and he has a familiarity being, EIC and chief creative officer at Marvel.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is going to go a couple different ways. I'm excited, but I don't know how this is going to play out, to be completely honest.
yeah. I don't know. It's a dicey landscape out there, right? But like you said, dude, Boom really put out some quality products and didn't, and really, like you said it perfectly. They really did stand the test of time. They weathered all storms there for a minute, and they were known for only quality and some great creative pairings, dude. I got a bunch of great Boom, hardcover and paperbacks in my collection, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm all in though on this type of energy, and I wish these guys the best. All this success to these guys. I hope it works out. It'll be interesting to see also as an experiment and really creating a company that's going to try to streamline that process from book to screen. It seems like, you know what I mean? They seem really focused on making that transition and that turnaround pretty quickly. So that'll be interesting to see, I think, for sure.
Well, and I think they've, hopefully they've learned the lesson from the industry, right? Which is don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Don't bank on IPs hitting, because we've seen so many things get optioned. We've seen so many things not show up on screen here.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we dive in any further on this, we got a couple more people rocking with us. We got our boy Fable, Station Brother.
Station Bro.
Nice seeing you. We got our other brother, Nick Comic Culture.
Nick.
Look at this.
What up, brother?
I didn't even realize we had blue wrenches. We got blue wrenches already. How did this even happen? With the great power, guys.
Just giving them out. Yeah, just.
I know. Let's see. I think I saw someone else. No, we're actually good here. Cool. All right. Next one up here. I know you and I were both super excited over this one because we were already talking in the back chat the day that this news broke. Ultimate Wolverine is coming in 2025.
Man.
Yes. Give it to me right now because I need this in my life. Not only is Ultimate Wolverine coming, which is going to be like an awesome just notion in general, right? Like we get a new different version of Wolverine, but it's written by none other than That Texas Blood and the Einfeld Gang Massacres, Chris Condon. Again, just like Jeremy Hahn I was talking about before, I'm a huge Chris Condon fan, and I know you're a fan as well. So like having him on a big 2 book and on a property like Wolverine, like how exciting is that, man? That does it.
Absolutely.
And this is really what gets me going as far as being a comic book fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole setup,
this, man?
Dude, the whole setup, right? With the Assassin Under the Control of Magic, Colossus, and Omega Red. You know what I mean? And just it's such a great concept, and I think a genius one for the Ultimate Universe. I think it fits perfectly in with that energy. And I also love how he's teaming up with Dennis Camp to do the Ultimate Universe, the 1 year. They're doing that. I think it's in January or February, the special one shot. It's the conclusion of the first year of the Ultimate Universe and setting up the next year's stories. Like, I just love how it's Condon and Camp teaming up for that. I'm all for that because to me, that's, 2 of the strongest guys that Marvel has on the roster right now. And is fortunate enough to have on the roster right now. I think they're supreme talents, and they're going to be around for quite a while. So, yeah, dude, I'm super hyped for this. Capuccio was the Moon Knight artist, correct? Like, dude, and the artwork.
I'll be honest, I don't know, but
I believe so.
But the preview pages look good.
Yeah, I believe was there for McKay's Moon Knight for a good long stretch, and yeah, I'm all in for that, dude. And I can't wait to unravel the mystery and see what's going on and who this unwilling agent of the maker is, man. But I'm so hyped for this. I cannot wait,
dude. And I'll be honest, man. I'm sorry if like
this was the most exciting Marvel news by
yeah,
a good 50 yards for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, dude, 100%. And I had no idea that Chris
I think
Condon
you're
was
muted,
also going to
brother.
be teaming up with Dennis Camp.
Tripping.
What's up? Yeah, I had absolutely zero idea that like Chris Condon was going to be doing work with Dennis Camp on the 1-year special too. So that was mind blowing for me. I had no idea until you just said it right now. Oh, technical difficulties. We wouldn't have a show if we didn't have technical difficulties. All right. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and keep going here while Stu fixes the headphones. But the next article we have is IDW Dark Imprints, new books announced, which inherently isn't the biggest news necessarily, but there's a tidbit in this article that really starts getting appetites wet, right? Which is that Patrick Horvath is bringing back his book that like really took everyone by storm, which is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. The sequel series to that is going to be coming out, which really it goes one of two ways, which is going to be like, I think most people are going to be super excited for this book. It's going to be something that like really gets people going. But on the other side, is it too early? Did this series just wrap up here to the point where we're not quite ready to see where this is going to go yet? Does he really have an idea that's worthwhile to bring this back? Or is this something that he's had maybe kind of cooking for a little bit and now he's ready to pull the trigger and bring this back? So either way, super excited to see where they're going to be taking this. Steve Niles is also coming back with another 30 Days of Night series, which they've had a lot of, but I don't think we've had one in the recent past. So it's kind of cool that he's coming back to the property that made him so popular to begin with. It's pretty exciting to see that. And then with Rodney Barnes as well, who has definitely been in the spotlight very recently too, with a couple different things going on, particularly a couple of his books here with Jason Scott Alexander. He's done some Spawn work, things like that. So it's a pretty exciting thing, but it's a little bit more low key than the other announcements that have come out here. So Stu, can you hear me first and foremost?
Yeah, my bad, bud. I don't somehow.
No, you're all good. And what are your thoughts on IDW's Dark Imprint books? I know one of them gets you excited.
Yeah, for sure. Here for the Beneath the Trees, Rite of Spring. I'm not really from. Are you familiar with the 30 Days a Night books? I know those were huge books at one point in time, but okay.
Yeah,
that's something I guess I'm excited to catch up on. But yeah, for sure. Excited for Beneath the Trees. The thing I like the at least then this is from AIPT, the little bit Jason Aaron was in attendance at the panel when they announced this, and he commented that he had been reading Beneath the Trees the week before and that the images just had been haunting him in his head ever since he read them. I thought that was super cool that he's in the crowd supporting these guys, especially a guy like Travis Horvath, who I think deserves all the flowers. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think we saw this one. I think, we've talked about this in the back chat before. We saw this sequel coming, based on the immense success that Beneath the Trees has had. So I just hope it's done well and, got everything we're looking for and they don't dilute the brand at all. But I am super pumped regardless.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting here. Let's see. What do the people got to say on this one? Let's see. Of course, we knew this was coming. Can't wait for the new Horvath book. Yeah, you guys were super pumped on that one, and I was late to the game on this for sure. In fact, I still have yet to finish the series, so don't hate me, but it's just the truth.
No, you're good, bro.
Let's see. Hot takes coming in right here. 30 days, meh. All right, it happens. 30 days of meh. I'll take it. And lastly, yeah, why not? The only hesitation I'd have is, did he have enough time to make it great and for the needed story? Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm rocking solo here again. So I guess I'm going to take the last bit of news here, which comes from absoluteeric.com. Doom gets an unnecessary event series. Quote, not for lovers. That t-shirt was a lie. I wholeheartedly agree. I don't think that Latveria is good for lovers at all whatsoever. And Dr. Doom, I've never seen him perform surgery, never even heard it actually happening. So is he truly a doctor? I don't know. Time will tell. One way or another, though, Doctor Doom is definitely at the forefront of Marvel right here and right now. So we are going to see what that means for the Marvel comic book universe and where that takes all of our properties, such as Avengers and so on and so forth. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into our Marvel books of the week here. So I'm going to skip ahead so when Stu comes back, he'll be able to rock out with his pick. But my pick for Marvel this week was Spider-Man Reign #2, written and drawn by Kari Andrews, colorist by Brian Reber, letters by Joe Carnamaga. So this was a super fun book for me. I kind of love this whole series, to be honest. It's been just a ton of fun. I've loved the action-packed excitement that they've been kind of like just dealing every single issue that's come out with this. And it just, I've said it in my reviews over and over. This is just a love letter to the 90s, but it's nothing about the 90s that was like cash grabby. There's no gatefold covers or anything like that. It's all about the bombastic fun that comes with these comics. Right here, we can see, just how McFarlane, his poses are when he's drawing Spider-Man, especially this old man Spider-Man with the gray beard, just like, coming right out of the mask here. This story brought the heart, though, because we start to unravel some of the mysteries behind the characters that are involved with this, particularly the Black Cat-esque character that we've met here. Before I go, Stu, we good? Good.
Yeah, man.
All right. So not time will tell. So we get to learn a little bit more about this character's motivations, why she's even helping this old man Peter to go back in time to save his Mary Jane, maybe what she's trying to get out of this experience, and maybe some of the familial connections that she has with people in the past as well. But the thing that I really love about this, and the thing that, we've been talking about just as comic book fans before the Ultimate Universe came back in the proper way, is that we got to see Pete and MJ back, right? And we got to see Pete do something, to save the life of the woman that he really loves. And we get to see that connection take place. And to do so in a way that is connected to one of the most villainous parts, not only of Spider-Man's lore, but of his own psyche, really, was a really special moment. And I feel like I shouldn't even say they, it's Kari Andrews' unique vision, right? It's the way that he's portrayed this was just beautiful. Like, it really, really hit in a really effective way. And it just made this issue in particular so worthwhile. So did you read this one, Stu? What'd you think?
Yeah, dude, I loved it, and I second what you say about it being a love letter to McFarlane era Spider-Man. You feel like that, and it's like you said, it's so sincere, and it's not overdone or like hokey. It's just integrated into the story in such a beautiful way. That's one of my most favorite things about this, particularly Volume 2. Dude, to me, Volume 2 is better than the first. Not only the art here, right? The art, oh my Lord, man. Like the issue with was it the first part of this issue with Mary Jane's kind of like flashback and all that, or was that issue 3? I think
it was.
I think
now you're making me remember comics from last week when I'm already started reading this week's comics, but I believe it was this week's.
My God, dude, the Andrews artwork in that was absolutely phenomenal. I was just blown away. It was like, and of course, like the reveal, the previous issue with her being Venom. I think it's been so great how much more the artwork feels more polished. Like there's definitely those Frank Miller. I can't help it's the Frank Miller Dark Knight is like elements to me with the Kingpin, right? But there's also been like these beautiful, like more polished moments where Andrews has really done some beautiful things, particularly with MJ. And he just feels so much more comfortable in this world now. And it's just been such a joy to experience. But yeah, dude, this has been a blast, man. And like the story elements and the different characters that like you never know who's going to show up and how they're going to show up. And we just get such unique little bits, like the little bit we get about Miles and Gwen and the daughter, like, and the like, man, it's just beautiful moments, dude. It's just crazy that we're in a time right now where all the best Spidey books are everything except ASM.
Time will tell. I mean, we're
right.
We're due for a change, but we'll see. And it's funny that you bring that up too, because we didn't really talk about that portion of New York Comic Con, but there was some awkwardness when it comes to the Spidey office and maybe how they handled some of the criticism that comes along with ASM. So interesting stuff. Maybe that provokes Marvel to do something. Who knows? Time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. But let me ask you this: do you think it's possible for them to tell these type of stories in ASM? Do you think they'll ever get
absolutely
that?
If they can do it, yeah. If they could do it here, they have the capability of doing it. They choose not to do it. Yeah. Like, right? I mean, is there any other answer?
No, but like, why? Yeah, exactly. But why? Why does it always have to be at Elseworlds or an other Spidey? Why can't we just give it to? Why can't we give the the big show the things we all want for the character?
If I'm being honest, because Marvel doesn't live up to the mantra that Uncle Ben set for Peter himself. With great power comes great responsibility, and they have the greatest IP, arguably the greatest IP in superhero comics, and they treat it with no responsibility whatsoever.
Yeah, and such a great we were just talking about this the other day. Such a great rogues gallery, and all we get is just OD on Venom and the Venomverse. You know what I mean? Like, let's take a step back. He has so many great villains, and they can attack, like as we've seen before in so many great ways. They can attack and dismantle his life in so many different ways, but I don't know. Here we are. But regardless, dude, Spider-Man Reign, I'm loving it. Just to get back on track.
Yes. Yes, exactly. There are good Spider-Man stories to be told and to be read, so that's a positive, right? We gotta
absolutely. Amen, brother. Amen. All right, for me. Oh, yeah. Wait.
We'll hit the rewind here.
Let me get back here.
Insert rewind noises here.
So for me, staying on Spidey, Ultimate Spider-Man number 10. This one was a little different in that change of pace. Not a whole lot of action or heroics, but a lot of exposition and conversation. But regardless, for me, it had some really enjoyable moments. I loved getting to tag along with Ben and Jonah on some old school guerrilla journalism. As they ambush Wesley at the country club. Dude, how did you feel about Wesley's, like, as a longtime Daredevil fan, how did you feel about Wesley's characterization here at the lunch? Like, I loved it. I loved their conversation.
I loved it.
Did you enjoy it? Yeah. Like,
sniveling, conniving little prick. Yes, he's the best.
Like the G-rated appeal to upper middle class recreational revolutionaries, and like how he just undermines the paper. And I love how it was like, hold on, I have you. Look, there go our masked heroes soaring through the sky. Maybe they'll save us all. Maybe they're secretly like us. Like, just so undermining. Like, I just love how mocking he is. But yeah, things change, of course, when they pull out the paperwork for the dissolution and sale of Stain and Stark Industries with his John Hancock at the bottom of it. They get chippy. And he changes up a little bit, right? Like, things change a little bit. And he's asking, tomorrow, he tells them tomorrow's promised to no one, especially those brave souls who choose to swim in deep water. And so Ben and Jonah head back to the offices and they start to put it all together. That it's Oscorp behind the acquisition of Stain and Stark. And to avoid any association with the Flying Green Men that have been wearing Stark tech lately, they've tried to cover their tracks, eliminate any traces. I don't know. My favorite part of the issue, of course, was the end when Harry shows up. They go to Gwen, confront Gwen with it. She gets riled up. MJ finds out about it, goes to them, and they're like, tell them they got a week before we publish it, bro. We're going with it. Like, I'm sorry that they're upset, but a story's a story. And Harry shows up, dude, and you don't know how it's going to go with Harry, right? I love that scene right before he's like, Peter, forgive me if this doesn't go the way I wanted to, or whatever, like that, and you're like, geez, man. And and like they start taking bets. They bet on, first of all, him showing up in the first place. They figured either him or Gwen. Right? He's slightly annoyed by that, becomes even more annoyed when they find out, like, he takes a bet, like, and I love how he busts out the green goblin armor, and you're ready for like this really tense moment, and they hand over money again. And he's like, really?
Yeah, he's like, you're not intimidated at all.
It was such a great way to diffuse the situation, and I just love that moment. But yeah, and it was just great because it goes from Harry being, you think he's going to go finally default, right, and give into the voice in his head and be that Harry, but he doesn't, man. He does a admirable thing and hands over this, as you can see on the bottom right there, this USB that contains everything about the maker and the council of people who run this world, and gives them really the juice to publish this story. Wilson Fisk runs New York, but who runs Wilson Fisk? So it was just I thought it was a great little character turn there at the end, and I just love how we go from starting before he goes in the building, like he doesn't know if he's going to have to end these dudes. You don't know if it's going to get super violent, and it just ended out with him doing the morally correct thing. I thought it was a beautiful little character turn. So like I said, just a lot of journalism, a lot of conversations back and forth through everybody who wasn't Peter or Harry, I guess, until the end there. But again, like another great issue though, regardless. And the artwork didn't suffer. I think they do a good job keeping up with the aesthetic on this one. But did you read this one, bro? How'd you feel about Ultimate Spidey 10?
Yeah, so I read it. I personally loved it, and I'm glad that you chose this book too, because I think it's a highly critiquable book, right? Because you're going to be in one of two camps. I think this is either for you or it totally didn't do anything for you. But first and foremost, I agree with you wholeheartedly on the artwork. I think that David Messina is doing really good work here. I think that he's a good pitch hitter for Marco Cacchetto. He stylistically, it's different, but it's not so different that it's jarring and like takes you out of the experience. Not only that, but like when I look at his artwork, it does evoke feelings of like other high profile artists. He's got a little bit of Dots in there. He's got a little bit of Eminem in his style too. Like those are not names to be taken lightly in the pantheon of comic book artists. Those are heavy hitters, right? So if he continues this path and continues to grow, if he could tell an exciting story about two old men writing an article, if he could like portray that in exciting ways in this book, like, come on, I want to see him like really take something and take big, bold swings. I'm ready for that book.
Hell yeah, dude. Well said. Yeah, Eminem. That's a name you don't hear much these days, dude. I miss that guy's artwork. What a
yeah. I think he retired from the game. He
is.
He's choosy.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that, but yeah, definitely a legend in his time. All right, so that'll do it for the House of Ideas for us, man.
Yeah. Overall, how are your what are your thoughts on Marvel this week? Good, bad, indifferent?
Solid, but this is really I feel like other than these two, man, I feel like the bar kind of it falls pretty low after these two.
That's
I feel like these were looking at it. These were the only two books I thought we would pick, and here we are. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we knew exactly what was coming down the pipeline.
It's sad too because I was able to actually get to the shop today on a Wednesday, and I have zero Marvel book. I came home with zero Marvel books this week. So yeah,
yikes,
rough, man.
Sorry, Marvel, be better.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to let you double down here and take the next book as well as we transition over to DC.
Yes, sir. All right, Batman and Robin, year one. Guys, the return of Wade and Sam Nee. How can you not be excited about that, right? I'm super hyped to see this creative team back on a book together. And they did not disappoint. The artwork was on point. I feel like Sam Nee is one of those artists who's continually getting better with age, it feels like, and was just really on it. Like every panel, every page of this book delivers me some great action shots. You got all the Batman and Robin descending into chaos shots that you needed. But there was also some really great close-ups. You got to see his Two-Face, which I love. I just love his retro style in the same vein as Darwin Cook and all those guys. Michael Cho, I've always got a soft spot for that aesthetic and those type of artists. And I think Sam Nee's one of the best, man. Yep. You look at Wade, like not only Daredevil, Black Widow, just some of the legendary runs these guys have done together. It's so great to see them on a book, especially like this. So this one literally is year one, 3 weeks after the death of Dick's parents, and becoming Bruce's ward. And yeah, man, it's just, we just follow him out. It's great seeing his naive enthusiasm as they head out, answer the bat signal in the car, and I just love Bruce, Batman, trying to navigate the situation and balance his trust, the right amount of trust and the right amount of guidance. You know what I mean? And yeah, and eventually earns with like a hard-earned lesson that Two-Face's hideout. I won't give it all away, but Robin's a little too gung-ho and they find themselves in a precarious position. But and Robin also learns a hard lesson after the fact. But I just love how it's just one of those, it's just a great glimpse into one of their early nights out, and it feels like exactly what this book should be. And it felt like, of the time, and everything about it felt right. And I had no complaints, dude. It was just one of the early on pages is just Jim Gordon, I think, and the mayor or somebody. It was just a 2-character panel from Sam Nee, and just like the line work on that just, man, felt so fresh and invigorating. It's just so great to see these guys back, dude. So this was phenomenal. Blew me away. And I did love this part right here where he first introduces Robin to Gordon. He's like, "You got to be kidding me. He's too young." And Batman's like, "Name a war that spares the young." So nice little quotables throughout.
Yeah. I like Gordon's response to that. It's like, Jesus, that's dark even for you.
Yeah, man. Fantastic, bro. How did you feel about it?
I mean, come on, like you said it best, right? Where you have Wade and Sam Nee on a book, like you're gonna enjoy the ever loving heck out of it. And it delivered through and through. I love the levity that Dick Grayson as Robin brings to the book, because it's almost like Batman's the only one living in this dark, brooding world.
Yes.
Like Jim Gordon calls him on his crap. Like Dick Grayson comes in, he's flicking the bat signal off with his feet, and he's, "Ta-da, we're here." He's bringing that like circus bravado, like it's a performance to him. And I love that, like, Bruce is the only one that's just like, "I am vengeance. I am the night." And everyone's like, "Oh God, here we go again."
Yeah. So, I love when he's in the car and he's like, "What if it's the Joker? Man, I can't wait to face off with him." Wham, pow. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like, yeah, he's bad. He kills people.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you had mentioned it before too. Like, it's nice seeing Batman and Bruce both being in predicaments where they've never been before, right? Like he's diffused bombs, right? And he's taken out these master criminals, and he's done all these things, but he's never raised a child, and he's never had a ward that he's had to like care for in the heat of a fight that could mean sudden death for either one of them. So to have him in a situation, or see him put in the situation that he doesn't have all the answers for, it's exciting, right? Because it's, granted, we know that Robin's not going to die, Batman's not going to die, it's comic books, but like to see them at risk rather than kind of the Batman that we have right now in regular continuity, like in current day, where he's just like, "I already anticipated you would do this. Not only that, but I've put all 3 like different things in place to make sure you'll never do this again." It's so refreshing to see that Batman version that is just not sure of himself.
Well said, dude, because I love that. Yeah, I love that part where he doesn't trust Robin all the way, and he kind of trips him up and causes him to get caught up where, like, that guy gets a drop on him and he has to use his cape. But then, like, later on, he's a little too trusting. Like, I just love that dichotomy, how he's trying to learn the balance and where to push on the brakes and where to hit the gas. So yeah, it was a great little glimpse, great little snapshot. And again, Sam Nee killing it, dude. Can't wait to see. I wish I had looked up beforehand how many
2.
issues that
Yeah.
bad boy is going to be. Do you know how many issues we're getting for that thing?
I don't. I would anticipate it's probably going to be a 4-issue series, but I could be way wrong. I'm really just pulling that number out of thin air.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my DC pick, bro. How about you?
Nice. Well, before we jump in here, I know we had a couple people out here I've been neglecting. So, Babo, just wanted to make sure we hit you up, station. Wonderful to see you. Not only do we got Babo rocking with us, but we also have Chill. Always good to see you, brother. And Simpleton hit us up with a question here. Did you guys read Kari Andrews' Amazing Fantasy? Very Spidey heavy. No, I personally did not, but I regret not reading it because it looked like a super fun, like rip-roaring time in like the Savage Land aesthetic with Captain America and Spider-Man. And I think it was Black Widow was the trio that rounded that out. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, anything with Kari Andrews attached to it, I'm going to be there. Oh, and Simpleton, if this is true, if this is a 12-issue series,
what
we're in for a very we're eating well. I'm eating
so
well
for
right
that.
now.
Please.
Yes. All right. Well, man, now I feel really bummed out that like I picked what I think is a fantastic book, but man, we're gonna get somber. We're gonna dive deep here, and I'm so sorry for that, but it's worthwhile, man, because we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman number 14, written by Tom King with artwork by Daniel San. Is it Sampier or Sampiri? How do you say it?
I would say Sampier.
That's what I say too, man. All right, I'm glad you said it that way. We're rocking with that then. All right, and then colors by Tomu Mori. All right, so good Lord, this issue. If you have, two hands holding your comics and they're attached to a heart, then you were crying by the end of this issue without a shadow of a doubt, because I was absolutely. I'm not ashamed to say it. I love that. I'm not a Wonder Woman fan. I'm not a hater. I'm not a fan though. I don't have any runs put together of Wonder Woman at all. I could not tell you the mythology. I could not tell you too much of the story. I know the big beats and that's it. And I dove into this because DC All In is happening. I'm all in. I bought in, all that kind of stuff. And dude, I'm picking up the rest of the run. Like the decision's been made. I'm picking up the rest of the run at this point. Diana has suffered this very ultimate tragedy, right? And in comic books, that doesn't mean much. We've all seen characters live through tragedy, but this hits so freaking hard. And we see like at the onset of this issue, it's Diana, appearing to just have given up, right? She throws the lasso aside, she throws the bracelets aside, and she descends into the water. And, and we get snippets of what's happening in the interim, right? We take little looks into the past days, and we see her just beside herself, just like in parts of it, just sobbing with emotion. And I love the symmetry that this issue brings. So we see at these first 3 panels, they're the beginning of the issue as she descends into the ocean and then dives deep, right? And it's so beautiful, the symbology behind her descending into the ocean and descending into her depression, but also descending into hell, Hades, right? Or whatever the heck you want to call it, to maybe seek out peace or maybe to seek out retribution for the tragedy that's taken place. And again, not to spoil anything, we're hitting the fast forward button. We're getting through the meat and potatoes of the issue. But by the end of this issue, we see the triumph of a superhero, and we see the perseverance of a superhero as she ascends from the ocean. And we see that the heartbreak is still real. The heartbreak is still there. But we see also that the hero can rise again. And we can see that, while everything has taken place at the beginning of the issue where the hero has given up for all intents and purposes, they can still become the hero that they were, and they can come back possibly even stronger with a new sense of meaning and being. This was a beautiful issue, man. This really, really, this hit harder than most big 2 comics can nowadays. And I have to give Tom King kudos for this, because this was just such a beautifully crafted issue. Narratively, Daniel Sampiri did a fantastic job visually delivering on the promise that Tom King must have put into the script. You feel every emotion that Diana is feeling here. But anyway, I've sobbed on enough. Stu, How many tears did you shed?
I did not shed any tears, but I thought it was fantastic, dude. Absolutely. And I love like the narration, from I forget that crinkly old man, and Tom King does so well with that, like playing with different characters' narration while like really bringing the story home. I thought, but dude, this scene with the flag right here took me out, man. That was beautiful. But yeah, I thought it was curious at first. You didn't know what was going on with the water and what was really happening, but you did feel like she was giving up in a sense. But then when you found out what was truly happening, and yeah, I'm gonna stay mum on the. I don't want to spoil it for people because I think it's definitely worth reading and finding out the journey she takes. But I dare say that like I doubt Diana's been through anything like this in the space of a single issue before. You know what I mean? But this was fantastic, and I think like you said, dude, the resilience, the way she found a way to push forward, and what she's taking with her, doing so was beautiful. That like really brought it all together, and when you understood like some of the symbology with the threads and things like that, and how all that came together, freaking magnificent, man. And I think like just to echo what you said about Tom King, dude, like this is I think where there's a lot of things to the spectrum of Tom King, and I think he's dealing with a lot of things as a human being, just like we all are. But I think when he really hits the nail on the head, particularly with these female characters, I felt the same way I did reading this one as I felt reading Supergirl #6. Like I just thought it was which kind of told her origin story and how she got to be who she was. But yeah, dude, I think this shows how well he understands these characters, and the emotional depths he's really able to go with them, where we haven't seen anything like this in a long time with Diana. So this was beautiful, dude. Yeah, fantastic. Definitely like the issue I think of the run, and I can see how you would change your mind on collecting it. I could see how Robbie would call it, lauded as one of the best Wonder Woman issues he's ever read, because I can definitely see it affecting people like that. It was extremely powerful.
Yeah, I mean, and I could be suffering 100% from recency bias, like, so I'll own up to that as a preface to my statement that I'll be about to make. It's late October, so a lot of us, especially that read comics and review comics and talk about comics, are thinking about like end of the year, what's been the best thing, what's been the best this, that, and the other. I'll be honest, man, like this at the very least is going to be in the conversation for best single issue of the year. It absolutely will in my eyes. Like that's how strong this is. And again, that's coming without any background from me being a Wonder Woman fan or having an understanding of what's happened earlier on in this run. Bits and pieces is all I know. And it still hit me as hard as it did. So that's absolutely really good storytelling.
I think the synchronicity with the Samperi art and the story and the narration, it was just flawless, man. It was so well done.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, good stuff. So overall, before we jump into our indie comics here, let's talk DC. Overall, how did you feel about just DC as a publisher with what they've put out?
I love what DC's doing right now, man.
Right.
I love it. I mean, plenty of titles every week for me to enjoy. I'm there for like the big promotional stuff, the all in. I'm all there, but I just read. I don't want to spoil it for next week, but some of the books I pick up today, Absolute Wonder Woman. It's just like
spoilers, Stu. I won't tell anyone. It's just between me and you. Fun.
It's freaking fantastic, dude. It's freaking fantastic. I also got my cover A, B, C, D, and E N for Absolute Batman #1 today.
I don't even know what you could be referring to. Like, it's just
we're out here buying
maybe I'll think of it. What could it be? Gosh, I don't know. It'll come to me eventually. I'm sure.
Dude. But I got the Wes Craig. I did get the Wes Craig Absolute. I got the Wes Craig Absolute Batman variant, so I had to get the Wes Craig Absolute Wonder Woman variant too. I'm gonna try to get all the Wes Craig joints. You know what I mean? Dude. I'm not gonna get like 5 of every number one, but like I was so hyped for Absolute Batman. I'm a sucker for Batman, so yeah.
Yeah, no, we know, and we
guy.
love you for
I
it.
was that guy. Yeah, man. But that damn Panosian was sick too, bro. Nice pickup.
Oh, dude. And then I saw the Midtown exclusive and I got even more jealous. I'm like, wait a minute.
I gotta check that one out. I haven't seen that one yet.
Dude, check it out. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But Rogue, before I miss you, Han, so happy that you were able to join
bro?
us, man.
Station, brother.
Yeah. All right, let's talk the indie comics, man. We got some good eating there too. So I'm gonna let you kick things off with this rompous time of a book, man.
Barfly number 3 from the world of minor threats, from Kyle Starks, Ryan Brown on art and colors with Kevin Nipstein, Nate Piekos on letters. Dude, this book has been such a fun run so far. So yeah, I don't know if you guys know Ryan Brown from 8 Billion Genies. I loved him in that. I don't know if you are a fan of his art, but yeah, this one follows our little punk rock insect monster man as he tries to find his way, and just do his own thing in Twilight City. He's still haunted by his creator, the entomologist, and is leaning on the few friends he has in this world and punk rock, of course, but it's just loaded with that signature Stark's charm. What I love about this one is that he's got Ryan Brown with him. It really delivers some just fun and hilarious moments, and you can tell Ryan Brown's having fun with the artwork too. Like there's a panel or a page where a character is crying tears, and it goes down all the way down to the bottom of the page. There's like a river with rats with a boat on it and stuff like that. There's all sorts of little notes that he writes, like about these characters, or nicknames or nasty things he calls them. Like you can tell he's really having fun working with Starks on this one, and it's just been a blast, dude. We got this hilarious take on this Green Lantern character. You know what I mean? Who got his powers not by really being worthy, but just being the closest when this guy was in his death rattle. But yeah, dude, it's been a wild romp, and it's just been so fun. I was stuck between this one and the new Where Monsters Lie, the cul-de-sac issue. Such a fan of Kyle Starks. But y'all also go check out Where Monsters Lie, the new cul-de-sac one. Piotr Kowalski, who did the artwork on the first Where Monsters Lie, which was fantastic, is doing the artwork on that one. And yeah, man, I just love Ryan Brown, and this one has been so much fun so far. So yeah, and like I was telling E in the back chat, Patton Oswalt was just on. It was either Fallon or Seth Meyers or something like that, where he brought out a copy of Barfly and was promoting it on late night TV. So that was dope to see. But
that's always nice to see. Yeah, I mean, because we get a lot of like the movie versions of comic books, but it's not the comic book. So when people are really talking about, the paper that you hold, I love that.
So shout out to Patton Oswalt. Yeah, man. So this one has been a bunch of fun. I know you hadn't read this one, E, but you read it for me just to be ready for the episode. What did you think, dude? I'm dying to hear your thoughts. I haven't heard anything yet.
It was unabashed Kyle Starks. If you've had the pleasure of meeting Kyle, even if you haven't met Kyle Starks, if you read Kyle Starks's work, trust me, you know exactly the person you're going to have a conversation with, because it is so in line with the bombastic, wild, fun nature that you get from every single book that I've read from him, without a shadow of a doubt. And this is just another shining example of that. It's so fun. It's like improv comedy or something in comic book form. Like you just don't know what to anticipate, like with every page turn. But sure enough, it takes you in some wild direction that you could never anticipate. And it's better than anything you could ever anticipate. There are things like again, the Green Lantern. I'm not going to say what the Green Lantern is called in this. Yeah. But trust me when I say you should all pick up this book and just give it 3 pages. Read 3 pages, and I guarantee you will read the other 19 to find out what the heck happens in this, because you're going to be laughing, and you're going to want to get more and more out of this issue. It was it's absolutely hilarious. It's such a fun, but like it's fun and it's funny, and I always like that's the first thing we're gonna say, but it brings so much heart too. Like for a
It
character
does.
like Barfly, you feel for the dude.
You're right, and
Like,
especially because like he doesn't talk like hardly ever.
God.
The only time we get his his conversations are when he's communicating telekinetically with like the big guy. So I love that you're still able to feel for this dude and be emotionally invested in him.
Yeah, it's just a fun filled like trip, man. It is great, and like I'm also a kid that grew up on punk rock and like things like Black Flag and Bad Religion. So like whenever I see those kind of little things thrown into a book, like Barfly being a punk rock kid, I kind of just love that. You've already got me. I've bought in, and now if you throw anything else, it's just like a cherry on top. So like, yeah, I loved this. It was a really really fun read.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, that makes me feel good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Thanks for taking the dive.
Yeah, of course, of course. Thank you for suggesting an absolutely fantastic book.
Dude, I gotta
Speaking of
say,
absolutely,
4 issues
but
in. Well, real quick, that's been my favorite part, man. Like I feel like doing the show already. Skin Police, you put me onto the one we're about to get into. You put me onto a bunch of good books, so thank you, honestly.
oh yeah, dude,
Love it.
that's half the reason we do this, man. It's all
Right?
the fun of it.
Amen, brother.
Speaking of all the fun here, Taki, Station
Talk, what
Brother,
up?
nice seeing you. All right, and again, we had so much fun with this issue, and I just got to bring it down for us. We're going to talk a book that honestly could have been my book out of the blue this week. But it's Prairie Gods #2, written, drawn, and colored by Shane Connery Volk of Nottingham fame, which I didn't know. I know that was a big, big, big title back, gosh, 2 years ago, maybe, I think is when it kicked off. It could be a little bit more than that, but I know that he really made his name on that book in regard to his artwork. But he's kind of like the sole owner of this book, which is an anthology series that's kind of following the supernatural happenings of this town Broadacre. And this issue, like, I didn't think I was going to read it, to be honest with you. It's kind of like I got some filler, let's see what's going on. This cover looks cool, and man, the cover didn't tell half of the story that I thought I was in for the artwork. It follows this lawman character, and again, this is an anthology series, so it's like a one and done. You get one issue, you spend a little bit of time with some characters, and boom, you're gone. And so you don't have to like be invested in too much stuff. Just be along for the ride and have some fun. But we follow this lawman character who evokes like kind of that Lee Van Cleef kind of like, the good, the bad, and the ugly. He's going to be the bad, right? And so we follow this character who's a lawman. He's trying to track down his criminal. It's almost like he's a sheriff, but he's almost like a bounty hunter. And I love his like reckless, carefree attitude that he brings with this stuff. But again, the artwork I feel like does the heavy lifting, as it evokes like Bill Sienkiewicz a lot for me, like especially like New Mutants, like old school Bill Sienkiewicz, but like when he wasn't so mixed media, but it was a lot of like big sketchy line work and kind of like really, really being experimental at that point, which is more modern nowadays. But who's the dude that did Bear Pirate Viking Queen? His name is escaping me.
Oh, wow.
Is it Jonathan
Marks? Yeah, Jonathan Marks.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Jonathan Marks. He's got big vibes of that as well. And like, so it's just energetic line work, awesome characterization of these people. But we follow the sheriff character. He hits up the town bar, which is filled with bikers, takes them out easily, gets the information he needs, and he's off, to find the character. But again, it all revolves around the supernatural aspects of this town. And this guy, this criminal, goes out into the desert, right, to try to seek asylum, to get away from the people that he's after. But lo and behold, supernatural happenings definitely start happening, particularly around the sheriff character himself, who, without a shadow of a doubt, is able to bring his man home here by some pretty cool means. I'll leave it at that here. But again, the artwork is just so striking in this. And Rogue, thank you so much. But I'm gonna have to have you pronounce that last name, because I'm not even going to attempt it. But it was just a fun issue, and again, because we're out in 22 pages. Like, it just made it so worthwhile. So much so that I went back and read issue number 1, which is all about, like, basically drag racing, like in
Oh
these
my
old
God, I
muscle
love
cars and stuff like
1.
that.
Yes. 1
Yeah,
is
it
like,
was a lot of fun.
I think I love 1 more than 2. Like, I love the, spoiler alert, but Homeboy's drag racing against the devil, and I just love the design of the devil, like the way he looks and his
Yes.
mask and everything, and his car. It was fantastic, dude. Yeah, the artwork has been killer. But yeah, I love this that you highlighted this scene by the campfire. It was wild. But yeah, I love you get a little bit of the sheriff in the first story, so I like that there's a little bit of world building. But yeah, it's also cool that it is kind of like an anthology setup, which it seems to be. Correct? I heard you say that. Is that what they're going for?
It's supposed to be
right?
delivered that way. It's like, yeah, everything is like, it's
Slightly
so
connected type
anthology
of
might
deal?
not be the it's like one and done. You get one issue, your story's told, you're on to the next. So maybe there could be interconnectivity, but it's not anything that's required reading necessarily. You're supposed to get like a worthwhile issue with just one issue.
Yeah, because I read 2 first, like thinking it was 1 accidentally, and then I got to the end of it and I was like, oh, and I went back to 1, and it was cool to see the sheriff in there, for a brief second. So I like that little bit of like connectivity. But yeah, both stories have been fantastic on their own, and definitely stood on their own. I think is great issues. But yeah, this is another great one, dude, that I definitely would have flown under my radar. So thank you, man. This one was super enjoyable. Artwork is fire.
Yeah. It was definitely an awesome issue. And look, we got our brother Nick showing off his advanced English degree here. So thank you so much for showing off on our show.
Appreciate you, Nick. Yep.
You're the best. We love you. All right. Next up, I believe you got a book out of the blue.
Man. Dude, I just wanted to take a minute and promote Dark Knight's All Winter. I wasn't able to get any shots from this last issue, but it's just been such a wonderful addition to the Dark Knights of Steel universe. I've just enjoyed it just as much, if not more so, than that book. But yeah, Deathstroke and kind of there are some characters from the original story here starting to show up and get mixed in the story, but it kind of centers around this OG Viking kind of Deathstroke and this kid that can bring color to this black and white world, man. It's just been fantastic from the artwork to the story. It's been a pleasant surprise issue to issue. I think it's the type of book people keep waiting for it to die off, or have a crappy issue and people to write it off, but it hasn't hit that ever. And I think we're 4 in now, and it's been really solid. So I just wanted to give it a shout out. It wasn't gonna usurp Batman and Robin Year One, but regardless, I think it's a book that stands really strongly on its own. And if you enjoy Dark Knights of Steel, highly recommend this one to you guys too. So
yeah,
check it out.
Well, and we talk about it a lot. Anticipation means something, especially when you're ranking these books, because sometimes you have low expectations and something blows it out of the water, and sometimes you think too highly of a book and it doesn't meet those lofty goals, and it just kind of falls by the wayside too. So good shout out, man. This is I've heard a lot of good things about this series all in all, especially since Tom Taylor isn't even the writer, if I'm correct.
For sure. No, he has a backup story in it with Riccardo Federici, which looks cool, glorious. Federici's art is super solid, and that's it's a solid little backup, don't get me wrong, but no, man, you know what? I should have the credits here, but no, this isn't Taylor's story, but it just worked from day one with me with the idea of a Viking Deathstroke. Like, that's all I needed to hear.
That's pretty
sick. Know what I mean? Yeah.
So,
and it's really delivered with his extended family and other characters from this universe. So definitely recommend this one. Dark Knights of Steel All Winter. Number 4 just dropped this past week. Y'all check it out.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Good suggestion here.
All right. You want to get into the covers of the week?
Take it away, brother.
Since I definitely, won once again. Guys, Eric got scared because I was going 2 covers of the week, and he finally decided to double down this week. So we're
secrets too. Shh.
That's all right. We still love him. I had to go cover A from Batman Full Moon, man. Stevan Civic. I'm probably butchering that name, but I just love this. Great creation. This one also had a cool variant by Franco Villa, and somebody else did that. I think Steve Beach did a great variant for this. I think the series is going to have some great covers all around, but I just love this cover A, man. Sometimes you just got to go with cover A. What did you think of? Did you get to this series? Rodney Barnes?
No, in the wide swath of Batman books, this was not going to be one that I decided to dive into when I got a million other books to read.
Yeah, it was all right. It was okay. His Bruce / Batman was a little weird, but it had some super cool moments, man. The artwork is fire.
Okay.
Subic did the Riddler Year One series with Paul Dano, which was okay, but his artwork in that was fantastic. He did all sorts of like mixed media stuff. Like he would have pages on like old timesheets. You know what I mean? Like it was really Sienkiewicz.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was super cool. I really like his style and where he's coming from. So it's good to see him get more work. I wanted to shout homie out, dude. The second cover. This is like a super retailer exclusive.
Shocked again. 2 weeks in a row.
Only one or two of us in the Doom chat got, but Lee Bermejo doing Doom. How can you say no? It's glorious. It looks beautiful. I think this is like some Trinity Comics NYCC retailer exclusive, but Lee Bermejo doing Doom. I had to throw it in there. So that's my those are my 2 covers of the week.
That's actually really sick though, because like personally, Lee Bermejo, it only does it for me about half of the time. There's some stuff he does where his style just doesn't really resonate with me, but this definitely does. And I think that he draws a really, or I shouldn't even say draw, but like he renders a really fantastic Doom. That's sick. So great choice.
Chucky says, "Stu with it. Look, bro. Look, I warned y'all. All right. So yeah, if this one was super hard to get. This is like a email pre-order exclusive type of deal, but." Hey, we're just picking.
Put a little note in a crow's on a crow's leg and send it off. And if Marvel happens to get it, they will send you an exclusive
in 7 months.
Yeah, exactly. And now I need to bite my tongue because my choices were exclusives as well, I believe. So, oops, sorry. At least I had the decency of picking one particular issue, so I'm doubling down on Department of Truth right now. The first cover, and forgive me, I have no idea who did these covers either, so I'm flying blind right now, but I love the punk rock aesthetic to this. It looks like a freaking concert poster, but it also delivers everything you need for the issue to like give you all of the meat and potatoes that you need to dive in and feel like you know what the heck is happening in this issue of Department of Truth. And then damn, do I love an homage cover. I am a sucker, dude. If I see an homage cover out there and it's not a ratio variant, I might get it. I might just get it. And come on, like is it in bad taste that they're doing this cover? Just what's your personal take on this? I just looked at it and I'm like, oh,
it's okay, man, for me. It doesn't like it's all right for me. I mean,
that's what I think.
I'm not so here's my thing. For me to be hype about a cover like this, I have to be hype about the original. And the original Punisher cover, it was never like him just standing with the scope. It just never worked for me. I think, the Punisher to me is like 90s Romita and, painted Joe Jusko and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that like for the homage cover to work for me, I have to be in love with the original. But like that said, like I love the leg up and stuff like that. Like there's little parts to this that are super dope, and like if I was super into that Punisher cover, I could see it connecting with me. But that's how I feel about the homage variants.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. I feel you on that for sure. And look, Nick letting out little secrets there, but I feel you. I'm not mad at that,
dude. Like and man, so many of these covers have been iconic, honestly, from Martin Simmons to like all the other artists they've gotten on these books, especially around like that first 1 through 5, like just some incredible covers on these books. So,
and I'll be the first to say that I'm readily out there criticizing James Tynion. I own up to it. Department of Truth, though, like I thought I was out. And I
think this is probably his strongest thing going right now. It seems like, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a lot of people like who are kind of on the fence with him, like yourself, or this is a book that you guys seem to be. I haven't picked it back up since it's been a minute. I think I have the first couple trades, and I fell off with like the Bigfoot thing. That's where I got
Everyone
off the
says that,
train.
myself included. The Bigfoot
Yeah.
one killed it, and I'm like, I'm never coming back. I'm never coming back. I
And
put my flag down, and I was just like, I had to pick it back up, take it out of the ground, and say, okay, let's give it another shot. And I think it's
yeah.
been worthwhile since then. And the only hope I have is that he's learned his lesson from that Bigfoot. Go put that on your Substack, dude. All right, let the book be the book. Put your prose stuff somewhere else because it doesn't belong in these pages.
For sure.
And again, see, here I am critiquing Tynan again. Gosh darn it.
But is it still Simmons on most issues these days, or what are we
No,
doing
so
okay.
the latest issue was not, but it was awesome. It was really you know what? You're gonna make me look. I gotta find out now because it was definitely worthwhile.
Well, that's good to hear that they're still, because Simmons, that's not like, we're talking about replacing Chiquetto on some of that art, and that's kind of easy to do when you're doing characters and it's not a whole lot of action or super epic pages going on. And like when you're doing stuff like Simmons and Department of Truth, it's like trying to find an artist who's gonna, yikes. That's a big void to fill.
Yeah, the artist was Allison Sampson, and I think what really made it work as well as it did was Jordi Belair's colors. In this issue, the colors were really high contrast and very simplistic colors, but they were very thoughtful colors. They were used with purpose, so it wasn't just like slapdash or anything like that. Very simplistic, but very thoughtful. And I think that it really made this issue that revolved around a lot of in the past and a lot around Marilyn Monroe as a character, but also as a construct maybe of the whole idea of the Department of Truth. So it was really cool stuff. And visually, Allison and Jordi did a fantastic job in the issue. So kudos to them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna have to check it back up. So, I'm gonna have to pick it back up.
It's worthwhile. It's worthwhile. Yeah. And we gave this man a lot of love here, but I know you wanted to really spotlight him and talk about him a little bit more. So
yeah, dude, I just
tell the
think
people about the wonder of Kyle Starks.
Like you said, like we met him at Heroes. He was a fantastic, funny human being. Just called, like Nick said, he called Mark Russell the other funny guy, and I think he kind of understands the stereotype, is also trying to break out of it at the same time. So, and I'm just happy to see him land some winners here lately. Of course, my favorite from him is Where Monsters Lie. If you guys haven't read that one, the original, the trade's out there, go pick it up. It's such a riot. It really is. Just recently, the Lobo cancellation special, which we featured, I think, on the first or second episode of the show.
Yeah, I think it might have been the first one, it was a fantastic issue. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so much fun. Kyle Hott's doing his thing on the artwork there as well. He did Rick and Morty for a long time. I think that's like probably his longest gig up to this point. Also, he had Peacemaker Tries Hard, which was a big hit for him. But dude always delivers the humor. Pine and Merrimack was also a good series for him. I thought it, like we said earlier, I thought it started strong, but kind of ended not as strong as it could have. But regardless, I think he's a fantastic writer. He's got a great sense of humor. He always makes me laugh in ways I'm not expecting, whether it be character names or ridiculous things that happen, or I don't know, man. I just feel like, yes, there's comics that we want, those heavy comics that make us feel and give us those philosophical and moral quandaries, but we also just want those lighthearted comics that are fun, that just make us laugh. And every time I'm reading a Kyle Starks comic, I know it's going to be a good time. I know I'm going to enjoy myself. So I just wanted to shout him out, man. I think he's killing it lately. Where Monsters Lie, The Cul-de-sac, is back, and it's good to see that series back again. So yeah, I just wanted to give him a little extra spotlight this week. I know you're kind of new to him, and most of the stuff you've read is off of my recommendation, but anything you wanted to add, bro?
6 Sidekicks to Trigger Keaton. The first time I had the pleasure of meeting him, which was in Memphis, I picked up that trade and had a nice little conversation with him at his booth too. And it's just a whole heck of a lot of fun. Again, the premise is it's not like totally overtly wild, but it's wild enough that you're in for a good time with it. Like this the bravado filled action star dies, and all of the sidekicks that he's had in his movies like have to like avenge his death and solve the mystery of his murder. So the premise alone is super fun, and when you throw Kyle Starks is like his Starkiness on top of it, it's just the perfect recipe for like a really, really fun comic.
Yeah, amen. Oh yeah. So yeah, shout out to Kyle Starks, our creator spotlight for this week.
Absolutely.
All right.
What comic do you think is going to be hitting hard next week? I just can't. I can't think of one that's really going to like blow me away. But I don't know. Why don't you take it? What do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. Oops.
Yeah, man. Without a doubt, it's going to be absolute Wonder Woman, guys. I hope you're grabbing that one, picking that one up this week. It's fantastic. Delivers on every front. For me, at least. You know. E, how you feeling? What are you looking forward to, bro?
Oh, dude, like this was such a fantastic issue. Like I spoilers, I already read.
Let me grab my stack real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Spoilers. Yeah, DC is doing some really, really fantastic work. I think that they are fully bought into the notion of all in. And I got to give them a little bit of a tip of the hat for that, because, you know, it's not just a saying. Like they're really driving it home. Detective Comics has been, you know, we're just coming off of the Rom V run, which I thought was like one of the highlight runs of Batman period. I think that they did really special things there. But again, like they're giving it to Tom Taylor, and I think that he's going to be able to do some special things. Dan Waters, to have him on a book like Nightwing doesn't feel like it should work. But I got high hopes for it. I think that they're going to be able to bring it back down to a grittier crime-driven storyline with Dick Grayson as Nightwing and Bloodhaven. So I'm pretty darn excited for that. So as far as like where my excitement level is, it's DC all day right now. And like kudos to them for not only building the hype, but delivering on it so far.
Yeah, it's all DC and indie for me. The Tom Scioli's Godzilla's Masterpiece Theater. Zatanna wraps up. I've loved that series. Bring Down the House. Paranoid Gardens, #4, Gerard Way. I've been loving that series. Void Rivals, #13. What else we got?
Dude, there's honestly, like when I was putting together the slides
following us. The Moon is Following Us, #2, and Frankenstein #3. Y'all, Michael Walsh on Frankenstein, guys. And like my homeboy Simpleton said, he's also got a book out called Null Hunter, which is fire as well, bro. Let's go. Guys, Mike Walsh, big week. Yeah, big week for Mike Walsh, dude. Frankenstein was magnificent.
Dude, Michael Walsh might be the most undersung creator right now. Everything he's put out that I've had the pleasure of reading and just like partaking in, if it's just his artwork, been really good. Like really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
a lot of indie books I'm excited to talk about next week with you, bro. And of course DC, like you said. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun week. I'm glad I got to get to the shop on Wednesday, but
dude, and here's the wild thing too. Like I'm looking at the books that I picked up, and you know, we have the unenviable task of picking a handful of books to showcase and be like, oh, what's going to get people excited? A reality is, dude, we got The Moon is Following Us #2.
Man.
I'm a big fan of power fantasy. I did throw Rook Exodus up there. Standstill.
Right, Rook Exodus #6 came out. Standstill. Like there's so many indie bangers this week. I love it.
Tin Can Society. The issue 1 blew me away. I'm so hoping
that this one does the trick. I forgot about that one. Yep.
And come on. Our favorite Sumerian, Conan the Barbarian. Gosh darn it. It's going to be a good week. It's going to be a really, really
such a strong week for indie comics, particularly. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Can't wait to see y'all back here next week to talk about those books and more. Anything y'all want to see us cover, let us know in the chat before we get out of here. I just want to plug my homeboy Verno. I'm going to be on Blood Splatter Chatter. This is going to be a Friday night show with Fable and Link. Fable's pick the others. Can't wait to get into it, man. This Horror Fest is almost wrapping up here. I can't believe it. We've been, I think, going since August.
Yeah,
August, if not before. But yeah, kind of coming down the home stretch here, but yeah, catch us on a special Friday night time at 9 o'clock Eastern. You want to go ahead and talk about the Sam Royale interview real quick?
Yeah, dude. So we, Stu, Nick, and I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking to artist, creator, writer Sam J. Royale. Got to really break down a lot of his indie work here, which goes from Dishoom to Pariah to his latest book, Kala Jadu. We had a great conversation. It was just a really, really fun time. So yeah, if you're unfamiliar with his work, familiarize yourself with it. Go give this a listen to, go watch it, and check out his Etsy store, because that's where you can buy his books. And trust me, his books are not just books. They are straight up care packages. So the money that you put forward towards them,
definitely worth it.
Well
Absolutely.
worth it. So we had such a good time talking with him. And then my weekly review show just dropped on Monday on the pull list, going over some of the books that we talked about tonight and a plethora of more books, talking about all my thoughts on the comic books that came out for the week. So a lot of good stuff here, man. Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, while Horror Fest is wrapping up here, how many let's break it down. How many shows were you on here? Because by my count, I think it was like 173 of the movie reviews that you guys did, but my count might be off.
Something like that. You might be off by one, like too, but it's in that neighborhood. Yeah,
I thought so. Anyway, it's been a pleasure having everyone in here. Thank you so much to everyone that was rocking with us.
Thank y'all for coming through. Appreciate y'all.
Phelps, Simpleton. Gosh, I'm gonna miss some people. I know it here. Nick, Fable. Let's see here. Who did I miss? I know I missed somebody. Rogue, Bobby. Christina was rocking with us earlier. Steve, early. Yeah, it was dude, everyone. I'm gonna miss somebody. I love you. I promise. So, everyone, all y'all, thank you so much for rocking with us. We will talk to you next week. Have a great one.